Again, to our show that is called Real Shame. It's a show where us two guys, watch movies from our movie list of shame or movie blind spots, basically movies we haven't seen that we're watching and talking about, and everyone's listening, hopefully. Ruminating on it. I'm Adam.
I'm Andy.
Earlier in the week, we looked at a Robert Townsend written directed movie that was called
Hollywood Shuffle.
Hollywood Shuffle, that's right. It's been so long, I forgot the name of it. Andy decided to pair with another movie that's written directed by Robert Townsend. I'm going to have him tell you all about it.
All right. Jefferson Reed is a mild-mannered substitute teacher who teaches kids to run away from conflict. That is, until one night when a large meteor strikes him and he gains superpowers. Now he can both talk to and understand his dog, see through walls and people's clothing. He can fly. He can shoot lasers from his eyes. And it also absorbed the contents of a book for just 30 seconds, only by touching the book. Move over, MCU. It's the Meteor Man.
That's great.
Lewis, what happened to you?
You're the one filling his head up with all this junk. Look, we have taught this boy to stand up for himself, to fight the bullies, but he doesn't listen to us. He said Mr. Reed teaches us differently. Mr. Reed said that we should run from the bullies, and that Mr. Reed encourages the smaller kids to practice running, hiding, and eating their lunch quickly.
I didn't say quickly, I said rapidly. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to help.
Yeah, well, thanks to your help, every bully at this school is beating him up. A younger girl did this to him. Mr. Reed, have you ever stood up to anybody?
Yes.
Or better yet, have you ever had your butt?
Mrs. Williams, I'll handle it from here.
So The Meteor Man is written and directed by Robert Townsend. We talked about a movie that he did on Monday, Hollywood Shuffle, that he co-wrote with Keenan Ivory Wayans. This time, he's all the right.
Keenan's out of the picture.
Keenan's out of the picture. Yeah, no.
He only is interested in his brother.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think Keenan's in this movie at all.
No, he's not. He's
Yeah.
not. I don't think any of the Wayans.
Yeah, one of them. I'm sure Damon Wayans is in it. I thought Damon Wayans is in it, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't write it down. If he is. This movie stars Robert Townsend as Jefferson Reed, a.k.a. Meteor Man. Eddie Griffin as Michael Anderson. Marla Gibbs, you know her from The Jeffersons. She played the maid that was always quick with the quip. She plays Jefferson's mother. Robert Guillaume, probably know him from TV's Benson. He plays Jefferson's father. James Earl Jones plays Ernest Moses. Roy Fagan, Fagan. He was in Hollywood Shuffle. This movie, he has a larger role, and he doesn't play multiple characters. He plays the bad guy, Simon Kane.
Right.
Don Cheadle plays Goldilocks. Always interesting to see Don in an early role like this. Frank Gorshin, who has a superhero connection because he played the Riddler on TV's Batman from the 1960s. He plays Anthony Byers. And once again, we saw him in a few movies a few weeks ago with Sidney Poitier. Bill Cosby plays a mysterious man named Marvin.
Yep.
But is this the most 90s movie ever? Because it also features, that's not all, folks. You also get Another Bad Creation, the musical group.
Yeah.
Aisha, So Glad to Meet You. Naughty by Nature, Not Cause I Hate You. You down with OPP? Naughty by Nature's in this. Cypress Hill.
Insane in the
Membrane's in this. Bismarcky. Oh Baby, You Got What I Need. Big Daddy Kane. He Gets Raw. Luther Vandross. Never Too Much, Never Too Much, Never Too Much. All of those musical acts are in this film. Not necessarily playing musical acts, but playing characters. They don't sing or dance or do anything like that. They're gang members, or they're drug dealers, or they're whatever, killers, hired killers. I think Luther Vandross is like a hired killer. Sinbad, the comedian,
the
is
house
in this
guest.
film. The house guest himself, Sinbad, is in this movie. Tiny Lister, R.I.P. He's in this film.
Seeing him in
I do
movies.
too.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Wallace Shawn, Inconceivable, is in this film.
He doesn't say that, unfortunately.
He does not say that. John Witherspoon, who was also in Hollywood Shuffle. He's the owner of Winky Dinky Dog, and he's, like in the Friday movies.
Yeah.
Great. Also R.I.P. Great comedian. John Witherspoon is in this. Leela Rashawn, who we saw she's actually in Any Given Sunday. She's Jamie Foxx's girlfriend. She's in this in a small role as a nurse. Faison Love in a blink and you'll miss him part, and you don't see him, but you hear the voice of Chris Tucker when they're in the mall. Chris Tucker is like emceeing like some kind of thing that's going on in the mall.
Whatever the Meteor Man stuff is, shows up at. Yeah.
So you don't see Chris Tucker, but you hear his very recognizable voice.
Yeah.
But this movie has everybody in
It
it.
does.
Everybody, at least everybody that was around in the 90s.
Yeah,
Is in this film. But this is a movie that I actually had never seen.
Yeah.
I've seen Hollywood Shuffle several times. I watched it on cable as a kid. I really liked that movie, but this is a movie that has always passed me by, so it's technically on my list of shame as well. This is a movie that you have seen before.
I have.
How many times have you seen it before?
So I think it's funny because you mentioned you saw Hollywood Shuffle over and over again on cable. That was Meteor Man for me.
Okay.
So I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through, but I've seen bits and pieces of it over and over again on cable. And it's one of those movies that I would tell people about, and they're like, "What are you talking about? It's so weird." Because the thing that stuck out to me that I remember the most about this movie was the touching a book and remembering its contents for 30 seconds.
It's so weird.
It's
I mean,
so
I knew
weird.
that was going to play a part later,
I thought so. Remembering this movie, I thought that was his only superpower.
Oh, okay.
Like I thought everything was about him touching something and remembering how to do it.
Okay.
And all that kind of stuff. And then you have to think like back in like high school and like middle school, like that would be the coolest superpower to have, especially so you don't have to study for tests. You can just like
it reminded me of the Matrix, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I can learn kung fu like this. Of course, I won't remember it in 30 seconds,
Yeah.
but I know it now.
But just imagine, like, you're taking a test, you just reach your hand in your backpack, touch the book, just fill it out real quick, or touch it a couple times that you're able to, like, ace all your tests. Like, that's cool, right?
And after 30 seconds, you forget it. You just reach down and do it again.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? So I think, that was the thing that stuck out to me that I remember. But it was one of those movies that I've seen bits and pieces of over and over again. Not all of it, but enough of it that I kind of have, like, a nostalgia for and remembered it fairly well.
Yeah. But of course, that's not his only superpower.
No, apparently
we ran through the laundry list in my little synopsis at the beginning. He has a lot of superpowers.
Yeah, I put in my notes, it's the kitchen sink of superpowers.
He does, yeah.
And there's no rhyme or reason to why he has the superpowers. It's just kind of like...
because Meteor.
Yeah,
that's why. Because Meteor.
It's like, oh, we're going to give him the ability. Oh, he can see through things. Oh, and he can fly. Oh, and he's bulletproof. Oh, and he can touch a book and memorize it for 30 seconds.
Talk to his dog, understand his dog.
Oh, yeah, it's everything. It's everything.
And it also just... He can just do this, right?
Oh yeah, like he has like telekinesis or whatever.
He's got everything.
Yeah,
he's the most powerful. He's more powerful than Superman.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say at this point,
more powerful than Superman. So this time around watching it, it's hard for me because this movie is such a nostalgia kick for me.
I get that.
Like I can't separate the feeling I get. Like when I'm watching this, I'm just like, oh, I remember watching this. Oh, this is so fun. I remember all this kind of stuff, and I do think like. It probably is a little like it's not it seems a little random in places.
Yeah.
Like I think the movie could do better to be a little bit more he can grow plants really fast with his meteor powers. Yes. I mean, I think it would be better if they gave him like a Green Lantern kind of ring kind of powers where it's anything he can imagine he can do would make a little bit more sense. So I think the movie's a little bit more random and they could probably have done a better job to make it more cohesive across the whole movie. But I had a lot of fun watching this. I thought it was enjoyable. I liked him as Meteor Man. I like the powers. I think Roy Fagan is awesome as the bad guy. Yeah. Like as Simon Kane, like he is threatening. He is interesting. He knows what kind of movie he's in. I mentioned with Hollywood Shuffle, The Last Dragon and Sho'nuff. Again, he is like a Sho'nuff level bad guy here. He gives the right amount of menace. He gives the right amount of force. I think the Golden Lions it's the Golden Lords. I think they're rendered interesting. Like I like that they all have blonde hair, that they have the tiger, like he has a tiger in the back of his den and with like a neon sign above it. Yeah. Like I think that's interesting.
Simon says well break the rules.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
It's fun. Like it's a lot of fun. I kind of want when I was watching it, the comic book he has a it has a superhero on it, and then it has the bad guy with like this little computer thing, and I was like, oh, Eddie Griffin, because he had that audience thing. I'm like, oh, he's gonna take a turn for the worse and stuff like that. Yeah. But you didn't get that in here, so maybe a sequel can be in the works to do that, because I think would be interesting to see that, because I kept on expecting like. Yeah, he's going to have these like minor bad guys that are the Golden Lords, but we're going to have like a major superpowered bad guy that's going to either be like Eddie Griffin or Bill Cosby, which they didn't really do. They gave it to Roy Fagan and he kind of took a doctor or not doctor. He took like a General Zod kind of turn a little bit, but I thought he does it well and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I really enjoyed this movie. I liked seeing all the actors in it. I like seeing the powers in it. I just had a lot of fun. I think it could have been probably directed a little bit better. It's a little TV-ish in its direction and stuff, but that might be due to the budget. But I mean, I can't be again. It's just such a nostalgia kick for me that I can't be too objective in watching it. So I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I'm gonna toss it over to you. Obviously, I've gushed about it for a little bit. Hopefully, you feel the same way, but maybe you don't. Where are you with Meteor Man?
I wish I would have seen it as a kid because unfortunately I don't have nostalgia.
Saving your butt.
Saving me. But I can't hate on this movie because I can't hate on Robert Townsend. Again, I just really like the guy. I just think he has such a likable face. Just seems like such a likable guy. So I don't hate this movie. I mean, far from it. I didn't really like it. I mean, unfortunately, and again, especially coming off the heels of Hollywood Shuffle, which I really love. Yeah. I agree with you. This movie is not focused enough for me. And you know, he does have a kitchen sink of superpowers, and it's like they threw everything in there. Some of it actually pays off, and some of it doesn't. And I'm with you. I wish Eddie Griffin would be like his sidekick, like this computer genius or whatever, you know, the scientist kind of guy.
Apparently,
but he doesn't. Yeah,
there's a scene that was cut out. I read on trivia where they hear that there's another meteor like the one that hit him in Albuquerque. Did you read that trivia?
I'd read that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Eddie Griffith's like, "Oh, I can be your sidekick or whatever." So maybe if there was a part 2.
Well, and from what I understand, this movie went through a lot of rewrites and just was kind of a chore to kind of get a finished screenplay. So I think a lot of stuff. You know, when things like that happen, a lot of times you wind up with something that's not as cohesive on the screen. But I mean, again, I don't hate this movie. I just am not really favorable on it overall. There was some parts definitely that I thought was funny. It's not nearly as funny to me as Hollywood Shuffle. But I, like you, I love seeing just the people, all the different Naughty by Nature and Luther Vandross and Sinbad and all that stuff. Even if like Sinbad's character has no real place in this movie at all. I mean, he's in a couple of scenes, random, and then he's gone, right? I mean, like, I wish that, and maybe this was in an earlier draft of the screenplay, but I wish that Jefferson Reed had a love interest in this movie. He does like that one girl, but nothing comes of that. That's the girl that Sinbad's
in the way.
But it's like, I wish that he had a girl. He had a Lois Lane or something like that. You know, I wish that he had something like that, and a lot of other things. I do love James Earl Jones's like fake hair.
Oh
it's hilarious.
His wigs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
where he has
like
the kid in play. Like,
yes, because
awesome.
he wears that like most of the movie. That to me that was really funny. And again, I like all of this cast. I mean, they're all fun. I enjoy seeing them on screen. I just wish that it was more focused and it came together as more cohesive than it is. But again, there's definitely parts in there I loved. I thought it was really funny when he's like, okay, and he starts flying away, but he's flying real low to the ground, and they're like, I sure wish he'd get over his like, I thought that was hilarious, like that he's just flying real low to the street or whatever. So there's some really good stuff in it, but overall, I really wish it would come together better. But I'm not gonna hate on this movie. Like, I didn't really like it overall, but I just enjoyed these people and Robert Townsend so much that I can't be mad at it. You know,
I like seeing Cypress Hill so much. Like, it's
it's awesome. All those guys, like, because I'm sure Naughty by Nature and I mean Biz Markie passed away, but like Big Daddy Kane, Cypress Hill, I'm sure they probably still do tours, like novelty acts kind of thing. I hate to call them that, but it's great seeing them. You know, because I listened to all of those people. I listened to their music back in the day. Yeah. So it's fun to see those guys. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I wish I'd also grown up watching it on cable. But for me, like you said, that was Hollywood Shuffle for me. This is your Hollywood Shuffle and the Meteor Man. But it's appropriate, both Robert Townsend. Yeah. So.
I mean, again, it's just like, it's such a random power, like the book thing. And it's just like, and people were like, what are you talking about? Like that being a superpower. I'm like, it's a superpower. I've seen it before.
I was like, is that really going to pay off? But of course it does. Like eventually, at the end when he gets thrown through the bookmobile, right?
Yeah, there's all these books on wheels.
Books on wheels, and then first he gets like the kung fu one.
He gets the Bruce Lee mastering martial arts,
but then he gets the fashion, the catwalk kind of thing, the modeling one.
He throws it to Roy Fagan.
And he catches it. I mean, I thought that was funny. Yeah. But what about Bill Cosby's character? Like, Does that you think that fits in the movie, or what? How do you feel
Again,
about that?
it should have been something where he was like the leader, or he was gonna build to be a bigger bad, right?
Yeah.
It should have been it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to be a bad guy
Yeah.
at some point. Yeah,
Yeah,
because-
it felt like it was gonna build to.
Yeah.
It felt like it should have built to that, and I think if the movie was made nowadays, it probably would have taken that into account. But this is before the MCU, like you said.
yeah, I mean,
And this is before DC. I mean, they've only had or before the DCEU, they only had the Donner Superman films and the Batman films to kind of look at the model this after, and I think it does the superhero stuff well. I think.
yeah, no, I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, this is maybe the earliest example on screen of a black superhero.
Yeah, it's
which I
before
think is
Blank
awesome.
Man, because
Yeah.
Blank Man came out the following year, I think.
Yeah, well, and I don't know about Blank Man.
Blank Man came out in '94.
No, I'm saying Black Man may not be the best representation on screen of anybody.
Okay, let's say
but yes,
Let's say it's before Hancock.
It predates Blank Man. It predates Hancock.
Okay.
It predates obviously Black Panther and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no. But again, I almost feel bad saying I don't really like this movie that much. I mean, I don't. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not I wish it was funnier. I wish it was better to me.
I thought
But I get why you like it.
I thought that the music was done well. I think the music has a lot of call outs to other music. There's a lot of John Williams influence in it, because when you see the meteor in the sky, it sounds very Star Warsy, and I feel like they use some of the instrumentation or some of the themes from Star Wars. And then there's obviously a lot of Superman theme that they borrow from it and stuff like that. So I didn't look up who did the music, but I think the music's really good.
Yeah.
But it's definitely borrowing heavily from John Williams, which is, hey, if you're gonna steal from the best.
Well, yeah, it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Paying some nice tribute. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's us on Meteor Man. Obviously, I'm over the moon with it. You can't hate on it, which I don't begrudge you at all. Where are the critics on this?
They're not very favorable.
They're hating on it.
Yeah, they were favorable on Hollywood Shuffle, not favorable on this.
Yeah,
25%.
Killed his career.
Which Hollywood Shuffle was 85%. This is 25% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, 36% audience, 2 thumbs down for the Meteor Man. Yeah,
they're wrong.
Hollywood Shuffle 2 thumbs up. This movie 2 thumbs down, and Leonard Maltin gives this 1.5 stars, almost a bomb, half a star better than a bomb.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, not very favorable. They didn't grow up watching it on cable like
me
or like me.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm not, but I don't think it's as bad as they're saying.
I'm saying I highly recommend you going back in time and watching it on cable.
If I had a time machine, I would force my younger self to watch The Meteor Man.
Oh yeah,
be you're gonna watch Hollywood Shuffle, followed by The Meteor Man. But
what was the movie you watched a bunch as a kid that you didn't like? But I need
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon. I need to do that to my younger self.
Yeah,
need to watch Flash Gordon, Kroll, and all those Legend, all those movies I missed.
Yeah.
All right, that's our thoughts on Meteor Man. On these Wednesday episodes, we like to answer viewers' questions. And so we picked one that is apt for the movie we reviewed today, for the movies this week. And it is, what are our favorite James Earl Jones movies? We called an audible a little bit and decided not to include Star Wars movies just because it's he's Darth Vader, right? It's hard to put against it. Darth Vader is such an iconic character, but again, he doesn't do a whole lot as Darth Vader, so it's a hard needle to thread, I believe.
And even if we had included Star Wars movies, they would not be at the top of my list.
Yeah, well, Rogue One's really good. I believe.
Yeah, no, Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars film, but it still wouldn't be at the top of my list.
But yeah, James Earl Jones, man, he's got a voice. He is he's James the Voice Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Or where would the voice fit into that?
He has a fantastic, very rich bass voice. That's why
amazing.
You hear him say "this is CNN" and all that stuff, and why he's the voice of Darth Vader, because he has an iconic, beautiful, beautiful bass voice.
And I think he was really acting a whole lot in the 70s and beyond, or before
He's been acting
the 80s.
for a long time.
Yeah, but I think he was more in front of the camera. In the
later,
in the earlier decades
after he turned 50, he definitely because he turned 50 in 1981. So Yeah, he's much more
I
recognizable now.
didn't remember he was in Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah, he's on the bomber with Slim Pickens.
Oh.
Yeah, he's one of the guys. Well, a very small role.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Not. Well, we saw his dad in The Sting. Remember his dad
Yeah.
is Robert Redford's partner
Yeah,
that gets
yeah,
killed, or is it Robert Redford or Paul Newman's partner that gets killed? That's Robert Redford. Yeah, his dad actually was an actor as well, so that was cool. I mean, I have been looking through his filmography, and I mean, yeah, I've definitely seen several movies with him. Like most people, once you start getting into like the 2000s, it starts to get a little spotty. And then there's a lot of movies that I go, "Oh, he was in that? I forgot."
Yeah, he's kind of in that role in Sneakers. I
yeah,
feel
see,
like,
I don't remember him in
and I've
Sneakers.
already called Sneakers as my favorite Sidney Poitier movie, so I feel like I can't really do that again for this guy, for
Yeah.
him. But he's kind of in like a small manager role, or manager, kind of like a leadership role in that movie.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones just like commands respect and commands like when he plays a character, he's usually like the leader or admiral
I mean,
or something like
with
that.
a voice like that, yeah.
Yeah.
If
You
you heard
can't.
him talk in real life, you'd be like, "I'm going to listen to this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
I'm listening to this man." When what was the old commercials when they would say like, was it when E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen? I don't
I
remember.
don't even know.
It was some commercials that they used to play in Dallas. Or Charles Schwab. Was it E.F. Hutton? I think when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. When James Earl Jones talks, people listen. I mean, I'm gonna keep it confined to like the late '80s because he did 3 movies very close together that I think are all good to great.
Okay.
So I will call out. Man, it's tough. It's tough deciding between these two. Some runners up.
Yeah, go.
Field of Dreams
I've never seen Phil
with Kevin
Jones.
Costner. Well,
If you build
we'll
it-
definitely do an episode on that.
If you build it, James Earl Jones will come.
Yeah, we'll definitely do an episode on that. I think that's a movie you need to see. And then I would say my other runner-up, man, I love this movie. This is another one that I want to slap onto an episode of Real Shame at some point. It's Mate One, which is a John Sayles movie.
Never.
Love me some John Sayles. John Sayles worked outside the studio system forever and ever. Amen. I think he's still doing it, still making movies, making some great smaller kind of independent films.
Yeah.
Mate One is an excellent film, as I remember. But the movie, do you have runners up, call outs that
I
you want
think
to hit before
the only other
main
thing
one?
I will add is his voice as Mustafa in The Lion King. I mean, iconic, right?
It's The Lion King, yeah.
Yeah, it's The Lion King. It's iconic. It's up there with Vader. So I just wanted to call that out real quick.
My number one is gonna be another comedy,
That's
not Robert Townsend, but Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And again,
one that you watched the sequel to not too long ago.
yes, possibly Hollywood Shuffle had a bit of an influence on Coming to America, at least with the Jerry Curl
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But it's Coming to America. I think Coming to America is John Landis directed. Eddie Murphy, it's the start of one of many movies where he played multiple roles.
Yeah.
Arsenio Hall also. James Earl Jones obviously is his father. But I think Coming to America is so funny.
Yeah.
When you talk about Beverly Hills, I was going to say Eddie Murphy comedies like Beverly Hills Cop and Beverly Hills Cop 2 and 48 Hours and movies like that. Like Eddie Murphy in the 1980s is like untouchable,
Yeah,
right? And then once he got into the 90s, his career started to go south and he made movies like, past the 90s, but he started making movies like Norbit and Meet Dave and stuff like that people found very, very forgettable.
What was the movie with Chubby Rain in it? And, Bowfinger? Bowfinger. Ugh.
Bowfinger. I remember liking Bowfinger, although it's been a long time since I've seen it. But you may be right there. But then he finally kind of had a comeback of sorts when he did the Dolomite movie, which I can't remember the name of it. It's not is it My Name is Dolomite, something like that?
Yeah.
With it was on Netflix. With,
You watched
Wesley
that one not
Snipes.
too long ago.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But like again, coming back to the 1980s, you had Eddie Murphy. I'm not going to say Coming to
Golden Child,
America.
Eddie Murphy.
Golden Child is awesome. That movie gets a lot of hate, but that movie's
Oh.
awesome. But I'm not going to say Coming to America is better than Beverly Hills Cop necessarily, but Beverly Hills Cop doesn't have James Earl Jones, so I don't have to. But I love Coming to America. I think it's so funny. James Earl Jones is funny in it. It's really good. So that's going to be my James Earl Jones
You got
pick.
Trading Places, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Training Club. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, 1980s Eddie Murphy in his concert movies.
Yeah.
One of which was directed by Robert Townsend. I think Raw was directed by Robert
Raw with the
Townsend.
red jumpsuit. Is that Raw?
Red jumpsuit is the Delirious.
Oh yeah,
That's the
okay,
first
yeah,
one, and
yeah.
then Raw I think is purple.
Okay.
I believe Robert Townsend directed Raw. I don't think he directed Delirious. But anyway, either way, both of them are funny. But Coming to America would be my James Earl Jones pick.
I lied. I do have a runner-up. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah.
He played Admiral Greer in a bunch of the Jack Ryan movies.
Yes.
Like Patriots Game,
Hunt for
and
Red October.
Hunt for Red October,
Yeah.
which is like an amazing movie.
Yeah.
So I wanted to call that out. It's cool to see him like, even with different actors playing Jack Ryan, him still being that same character called Jack Ryan. He's like the M of the newer Bond movies and stuff like that.
A perfect way to put it.
And it's great to have him in there. Again, playing an admiral, like he has that gravitas and stuff like that.
I believe it.
Yeah. I think for me, the movie that stands out the most from his movies is a baseball movie. And it's not Field of Dreams because I haven't seen that. It's The Sandlot.
Yep.
I feel like I've talked about The Sandlot a lot on the show, and it's one of those touchstone movies for me. It's just one of those movies that, like, I've said this before, so I'll keep it short, but it's one of those movies that, like, we rented it, and I was like, I don't want to watch this movie. This movie sounds terrible. Like, why are we renting this movie? And then I watched it, I'm like, no, this movie is great. Like, this is like an amazing movie. It's like, no, let's rent The Sandlot again, stuff like that. You know, your
parents were like, no, not again.
Yeah.
Choose something else.
It was just one of those movies that just like, I dug my feet in, didn't want to watch it and all that kind of stuff. And then watching it, I was like, wow, this movie's really good. It's really great. And it just showed me how good movies can be. And he plays a pivotal character, a former retired baseballer, helps get the main kid out of trouble and just gives that gravitas for the few minutes he's in the film. So for me, I think, Sandlot, man. If I'm not going to choose sneakers, Sandlot.
Yeah. Hey, I came to The Sandlot later in life. I did not watch it when I was younger. So I think its time had come and gone by the time I saw it. But I do like that movie. Although I don't want to hear somebody say, "You're killing me, Smalls," ever again. Because people say that a lot, right?
I might say that a lot.
No, I don't think I've heard you say it, but a lot of people say that, and I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Enough already.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good movie. I like it.
All right. Well, that's our favorite James Earl Jones movie. Let us know down below what your favorite James Earl Jones role is. It's probably one that we haven't mentioned. Let us know what we're missing out on. We'd be happy to dig into more of his filmography, watch more of his movies below. So give us some suggestions. We'll be happy to do that. And that's everything. Meteor Man and more. Andy's wrong. It is a great movie.
I can't be mad at it. I love these people. Yeah. I just didn't come together for me. But I don't hate you, Meteor Man. I don't hate you.
No worries.
Just didn't like y'all that much.
All right. So that's everything. Yeah. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that social media stuff. It really does help, and we really do appreciate it. Stay tuned next week as we watch some movies from this guy's list of shame, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.